are going to talk about keto. We're going to talk about the benefits of keto, what makes something keto, and we're actually going to make a broccoli ham and cheese frittata that is geared towards the keto lifestyle. And then my partner later on in her video will show you a more mainstream option and kind of compare and contrast. That way you can figure out which one suits your lifestyle the best. So we're gonna get started here by, I attached a quick fun little quiz where you can determine what foods are better options for a keto lifestyle versus which ones might not be. So it looks like this. I don't know if you can see that, but if you could pull that up before you watch the rest of this video, take that little quiz because we'll come back to it later on after we kind of went through everything. So you can take that and then put it to the side. So we're going to talk about keto. I know a lot of people might roll their eyes, be like, oh my god, keto, you know, I don't get it, whatnot. I know there's a lot of controversy revolving the keto lifestyle, but I'll kind of tell you what made me choose keto, even though I don't really follow it as strictly anymore. So, basic of basic, the keto diet. If you find this handout, it will show you a very good representation of how the diet plays out. So, keto diet is a low carb diet, moderate protein, and then high fat, of course. So 5% of the diet will be carbs, 20% of your diet will be protein, while 75% of it will be fat. And that's kind of where all the controversy plays in. You know, we're told not to consume a lot of fat. You can have heart issues and cholesterol issues and all those things associated with it. But we're going to dive in and I'm going to tell you my story. So, you know, over the years, there have been a lot of advances in medicine and knowledge regarding different lifestyles. So, these days, our society offers a plethora of, of different lifestyles. You got keto, you have, you know, you're vegan, vegetarian, paleo, gluten-free, etc. And some of those, you know, people need due to underlying health conditions, so they have to follow one lifestyle rather than another. And a gluten-free diet is definitely necessary for people with celiac disease. They are gluten intolerant, so they definitely need a gluten-free diet. And the keto lifestyle attracts those typically who are seeking quick results. You know, everybody kind of looks at the keto diet as like a miracle pill, if you want to say that. You know, they don't think they really have to put any work into it, and I feel like that's kind of with a lot of diets, if you want to say. People just want a quick result where they don't really have to do any work, and that's why you see a lot of people getting gastric bypass and things like that. However, keto lifestyle is not intended for the long haul, and I feel like a lot of people don't understand that, nor do they really care. And that's when you can start to see some of those health defects or health challenges come into play. You know, if you do consume a high fat diet for a really long time, yes, you're probably gonna end up having some health issues. But this is why I chose the keto diet, and you can do with it what you may. So, when I got pregnant with my daughter, I was in a really bad place, and I don't want a pity party or anything like that. You know, I had just broken up with my daughter's father because he was cheating on me. And, you know, finding out you're pregnant is an awesome thing. It really is. Like, I prayed for the longest time to get pregnant. Really wanted to be a mom. That's the one thing I wanted out of life, was to be a mom. Told I was having infertility issues, so I didn't think it was ever going to happen for me. But Lord and behold, it did. So yeah, I was going through a really rough time, but then I started just really enjoying the pregnancy, everything like that. You know, I did have my ups and downs with my emotions. Didn't eat like I probably should have. Didn't really have much guidance on what to do while you're pregnant. I didn't have that support system, anything like that. So I just kind of ate like crap. I worked at Texas Roadhouse, so I'd eat those rolls that are so delicious with that honey cinnamon butter, and it wasn't good. I put on a lot of weight, and then I found out my daughter's condition, and you know, obviously that was a really, really big hurdle. So put on even more weight. By the end of my pregnancy, I was almost 300 pounds. I was 275 pounds when I went in for my scheduled C-section to have my daughter. And I've never been that heavy in my entire life. So it was a huge disappointing moment for me. Yeah, I just couldn't believe it. So, you know, I was trying to go through after I had her, after she was in a stable place, which wasn't until probably 6 months after she was born. So by now it was 2018. I had my daughter in 2017. So 2018, I really just wanted to make a change. You know, I was like, okay, my daughter's in a good place. Now I need to be in a good place so I can take care of her the way that she needs to be taken care of. So I was scouring Facebook and trying to figure out what I should do, because there's so many different options out there. Well, I came across a page, and it's called Low Carb Journey, Cooking with Christy, Cooking Keto with Christy. And Christy had written, I think she only had written one cookbook at the time that I found this page, and she wrote it because she went through the same journey. You know, she was really heavy, trying everything, couldn't lose any weight, and then she started to kind of really read up on knowledge and figure out what was best for her, and that's what she did. And now she has, I think, 4 cookbooks, which is awesome. But what really got me was seeing everybody's personal testimonies. You know, a lot of the times, you know, you see it on TV or whatever, and you know, it's kind of more like a marketing technique, but these were real people, and just like, you know, any of us. And they were actually posting, like, I think it's on Fridays, or Transformation Tuesdays. So Tuesdays they all post like a picture or whatnot showing how far they've come in their weight loss journey. And everybody's different, you know? So that really spoke to me, and I decided to give it a go. I'm the type of person that will try anything one time, you know, anything safe, that is. So I tried it, you know, and here I am today, and I'm, you know, at a lighter weight than I was before I got pregnant, and I feel great. You know, I did really stick to the diet, really strict at first, and it took me a while. You know, you're not supposed to lose weight overnight. It's 2 years later, and you know, I'm finally to the place that I want to be. Sure, nowadays I give in to temptation and give myself, you know, a cheat day, if you will, but it's all about moderation. It's all about balance. No matter what lifestyle you choose, those are key. So now let's talk about kind of keto more in depth. The keto lifestyle is, as I just mentioned, you know, it's low carb, minimal sugar, high fat, and moderate protein. So every meal should have a higher fat content than your protein. The higher fat content is actually gonna give you that feeling of satiety, so you're gonna feel full longer. And one way after you eat, if you know you still feel hungry after 10-20 minutes or however long, you know you should have had added more fat to your diet or to your meal, or whatever terminology you want to use. So protein consumption should be no greater than 60 grams of protein. However, if you're a female, you should probably stick more to 40 grams. And you know, if you work out and things like that, then you can up it a little bit, but I normally try to stay within the 40 to 60 gram of protein range. And then every meal should contain no more than 7 grams of carbs. So you're allotted 20 grams of carbs per day, and which I know that math doesn't really add up, but you're supposed to have about 6 to 7 per meal if you want to do that. And then some people, they actually do net carbs, which are, you take the total grams of carbs minus the dietary fiber, and then that will give you your net carb. But I choose to do total carbs. Personal preference thing, can do it however you want to, if you want to do it at all. So, we talked about that. And then sugar. So, you want to have very minimal sugar in your diet. If you do consume sugar, it should be from natural sources such as fruit. I love fruit, but again, moderation. So if I do have sugar, however, you know, I drink the Bang energy drinks, you know, I have coffee, things of that nature, because I'm a mom and I need energy and I just don't have it anymore. So with those, the Bang actually is made with erythritol, which is a natural sweetener. So that's okay. But again, moderation. And then I use Truvia. Again, like I said in my past video, it is a natural sweetener as well. And all of these things tie into, you know, your different levels and staying in ketosis and things like that. So, but we'll talk about that. When reading food labels, pretty much every label you will read has some form of sugar in it. And this is the biggest thing. Like, a bunch of people come to me and ask me, hey, you know, I see you're living a healthier lifestyle. How did you do it? And, you know, I tell them, you don't have to do keto. Like, don't think just because I do it and it worked for me that it's going to work for you. No. The main thing to living a healthy lifestyle is knowing what you're putting in your body, reading the food labels so you know what you're putting in your body, and knowing how your body reacts to different things. Like, that is key. Like I said, you know, if you have celiac disease, probably shouldn't be consuming gluten. And, you know, if you have thyroid problems, then you need to be sticking to those vegetables that are thyroid friendly and everything like that. So, some of the sugars that you will find on the labels that, you know, people, they have funny names, so people don't really think too much about it. They don't think it's sugar, but glucose, dextrose, syrups, fructose, honey, lactose, maltose, molasses, nectar, sucrose, etc. Obviously, there's a lot. So, but a great way to add fat to any meal is to cook with lard, which is bacon fat, or like an avocado oil. That is my preference. I choose to use avocado oil. It is a healthy fat and very easy to add it into my regimen. You know, like if I'm sauteing something, I'll saute it in avocado oil, or, you know, things like that. If you do toast with avocado, like mashed avocado, drizzle a little avocado oil over it. There's some extra fat. Like I said, the keto lifestyle isn't for everybody. It will never try and push the keto lifestyle on anyone. It worked for me, doesn't mean it will work for everybody. And it is very, very difficult. I love carbs. Carbs are my friend. You can see my sign says Sunday's carbs don't count, because those are the Lord's carbs. And sure are, because I order my pizza and I enjoy and indulge in my carbs. But anyway, keto does offer great takeaways, like I just mentioned. You know, reading labels and knowing what you're putting into your body, knowing how you react to certain ingredients, you know, all those things. Like if you have celiac disease, if you have thyroid problems, heart problems, anything, just know your body, know what you should be doing, and read food labels. That's the biggest takeaway. I'm just going to keep saying it. Read food labels. But today we are gonna make a keto recipe, which actually a lot of the ingredients you probably already have in your cabinet, with some minor tweaks for the keto lifestyle or whatnot. But then my partner is gonna also show you how to make a similar recipe, but it's going to be more mainstream for people that don't want to follow the keto lifestyle. So you can decide which one better suits your needs. Totally up to you. We're giving you options. Want to help you out. And these are really quick and cheap to make. So it's an awesome, awesome thing. So let's see. I want to ask you a couple questions, and when you do feedback or whatnot, you can always answer them there. Does anybody have food restrictions? I know some of you do, but I just want a better background on that. And then, has anyone or somebody you know tried the keto lifestyle before? What are your thoughts regarding the keto lifestyle? Again, you're not going to hurt my feelings. I know there's a lot of controversy surrounding it. Totally fine. And then what are you hoping to take away from this lesson? I know I already kind of dived in and, you know, we're kind of already in the midst and thick of things, but what do you really want to learn from this? Or how do you want to apply it to your lifestyle that you're already living? All right, so I know there's a lot of information I just went over, but I did attach a couple of handouts, and I'm a visual learner, so these visuals really, really help me. So I'm hoping that they will help you too to kind of understand things a little bit better. So the first one, I think it's the first one, is how does ketosis work? Let me move this other one out of the back. How does ketosis work? So you see I don't know if you can see this, but if you look at it, you can see the traditional diet is a higher carb diet, and the way that you get energy, we all know energy comes from calories, but your glucose level will rise, and then your pancreas secretes the insulin, and then the insulin shuttles glucose into the cell, which produces energy. Sorry about the cutoff. My daughter's food just went off. But then the keto diet, if you look at that again, is a higher fat diet versus a higher carb diet. So your glucose levels will fall, and then your lipase releases stored triglycerides, and then the fatty acids travel to the liver, and the liver produces ketones, which give you your energy. And we all know the controversy surrounding keto, so I just attached this little document here. You can kind of read it over yourself. I'm just going to basically go over the pros with you guys, but like I said, you can go over it on your own time, and you know, it's good information. So the benefits, like the health benefits of a keto diet, there's some neurological, there's musculoskeletal, reproductive, and endocrine, immune benefits, and cardiovascular. Okay, so I'm just gonna pick out a couple. Like I said, you can read it over. But epilepsy, seizure reduces in children. Now, with my daughter's health condition, some of the parents have tried the keto diet with their kids, or the keto lifestyle, and they've had tremendous outcomes. A lot of our kiddos with trisomy 18 suffer from seizures, and they are really bad seizures. Okay, so a lot of the kiddos are on Keppra, which helps with those seizures. Luckily, my daughter, she had them when she was first born, at about 2 months old, and then she has not had one since then, knock on wood. But yeah, we got really lucky there. However, keto does help with that, and it also helps with seizures, seizure reduction in adults as well. And then autism, it helps with improvements with autism, helps with Alzheimer's, and improves bipolar symptoms. Bipolar does run in my family, so that is a really great benefit to that. Helps with athletic performance. I don't know. he say, she say kind of thing. But it definitely helps with appetite suppression due to the fat content, and it helps with increased fat mass loss. So with keto, and my lifestyle in general, I'm probably making an excuse, but I really just don't have a lot of time to work out unless it's at home doing a quick little 30-minute workout in my living room. But it's definitely helped me to lose a lot of fat mass. So that's awesome without working out, you know. It's definitely a plus. So let's see. Those are the basic kind of general health benefits to things. Like I said a million times, look over it, you know, use the information how you will, throw it out, totally up to you. We went over ketosis and how that works. So let's get into this little recipe here. The recipe we're making, again, is the broccoli, ham, and cheese frittata. So it's going to take about 20 minutes to prep everything. I've already kind of did that. Don't want to bore you guys with all that and like the other information that we're using. So it's going to take roughly 20 minutes to cook. Now, when we were actually doing a recipe testing, it was kind of all over the place, you know. Took us 18 minutes sometimes it took us 20. My oven has a tendency to cook a little bit faster, so I check on it between 15 and 18 minutes and then kind of go from there. So, I mean, I'm sure you guys' ovens are the same way. Keep an eye on it, you know, when it gets close to the time, and you can kind of determine where to go from there. So total time, probably about 40 minutes. Some equipment that you're going to need is a whisk, or I don't have a whisk, so I use a fork. Works just the same way. One medium-sized bowl, which I've kind of already put some stuff in here, but this is my bowl. And then you're going to need a liquid measuring cup, which I have my heavy whipping cream in here. And then some dry measuring cups, which if you have, I just kind of eyeball things because I'm used to like cooking and stuff, but you're going to need some of those. And then some measuring spoons. So I have these little lovely spoons from Target here. And then you're going to need a chef's knife, cutting board. I don't know if you can see over here. And then it says a 10-inch skillet, so you can use like a pan, whatever. Most of the time this recipe is made in a cast iron skillet, and then you cook everything in the skillet and then just throw it in the oven, how it is. But I like to do it in individual ones, so that's kind of what we're going to focus on here. So you're going to need a muffin pan as well. You can choose to use muffin liners or not. I'm going to use muffin liners today. And then you're going to need some sort of cooking instrument to saute your broccoli and your green onions. I suggested a wooden spoon, but use whatever works for you. Totally up to you. Some of the ingredients. You're going to need some eggs, heavy whipping cream, mustard powder, so you can choose to use that if you have it on hand. I wouldn't go out of your way to buy it. It just adds a little bit more flavor to the recipe. Salt, bacon fat, or avocado oil or ghee. Something with what's going to provide a lot of flavor and have a higher melting point. So you need that, and then you're going to need your broccoli, your green onions, your ham. So generally I buy boar's head and then I just cut it up, but I know that's not ideal for everybody. Boar's head is pretty pricey. I just like it because it doesn't have all the additives and sugar and whatnot that a lot of the other prepackaged brands have. And then you're going to need cheddar cheese, and you're going to want to shred it. So you can either buy the block or you can buy a bag of it already shredded. I'm going to use this kind right here today. However, it's not really the best option for the keto diet. So I have been kind of trying this out. It is Organic Valley, which I use a lot of their stuff. And it's just a better alternative. It doesn't, if you look at the ingredient list, the biggest thing is the longer the ingredient list, the worse it is for you. So if it has a shorter ingredient list, even if you don't know what everything means, typically it's probably going to be a little bit healthier for you. So I really like to use this, but like I said, we're going to use this today. It is already shredded, so I don't really have to worry about that. And yeah, so let's dive on in. Some simple kind of sanitary habits that you should practice are making sure you wash your hands. So I already did the eggs. I already cracked them open, put them in the bowl. But after I did that, well, before I did that, I washed my hands. And then after I did that, I washed my hands again. But you always want to make sure your hair is up if you're a female, or even if you're a male. You want to rock the man bun, whatever. Typically, you would probably have a hairnet over because I have a lot of hair. But I don't have those here, so we're not going to worry about it. And then you would typically wear an apron. Don't have that either, so we're not going to do that. But all these things help prevent contamination. You don't want contamination. You don't want a hair in your food. You don't want to be cutting vegetables on the same surface that you had some ham or, you know, anything like that. Just don't do it. So let's see. I already washed the broccoli and the green onions. So that's already done. Chopped up the broccoli. This is more broccoli than you're going to need for the recipe, but it was about to go bad, so I just went ahead and chopped it all up. I diced the ham, and then the cheese is already shredded, so you don't have to worry about that. So we're going to whisk together the eggs, the cream, the mustard powder, and salt until well blended. So, I don't know if you can see this. My eggs are in there. I'm just going to whisk it together real quick. Now, when we did this recipe testing, we did it a couple different ways. Played with the salt a little bit, because now I like salt. Salt is my friend, especially when you're on a keto diet, because salt's going to help you get more water into your diet and help with your levels. So, I really liked salt. Now, we did have a few people say that there was too much salt, even when we didn't add any salt, any extra salt to the recipe. Now, we do have a suspicion that it may have been a little bit salty because of the ham. And I think that also depends on what kind of ham you use. So, make sure to check out ingredient labels. Anyway, that is all mixed together. So let's see, what are we gonna do now? We are gonna melt bacon fat in the skillet over medium heat, and then you're gonna add your broccoli and your onions and cook until broccoli is tender and onions are translucent. So, I'm not gonna use bacon fat today, but I do have some stored in this little mason jar for when my mom comes to visit. She is also doing keto lifestyle as well, so she likes to use this when making chicken wings, and you just kind of coat it in the melted bacon fat and then throw on your seasonings and bake them. Anyway, another story. But I use the avocado oil. It doesn't really matter what brand you use. I just had groceries delivered, and this was the only brand that they had available. It is pretty pricey, so if you're on a tight budget, stick to the bacon fat, because most people already have bacon in their fridge or the freezer or whatever. You can just render the bacon fat, and it costs you no extra money. So I'm going to throw in these onions, throw in the broccoli, and then I will be right back. Our broccoli and our onions going over here. Now it says to cook the broccoli until tender, and then you are going to cook your onions until they're translucent. For those people that do not know what translucent means, I know this kind of came up in our lab Translucent just means that they're clear. You can see through them. I want it to look like my onions were, you know, starting to kind of go bad, so they look a little bit more brown than usual. However, in here, I don't know if you can see this, I already kind of put my ham in here. Now the recipe says it will make 6 servings. However, Claire and I found out that they tend to make a little bit more than that. So I wanted to use up all my ingredients before they went bad. So I just kind of went ahead and I'm gonna make 12 of them. All right, guys, so it is all evenly divided, or pretty much that way. Anyway, now, like I said, I am using up the rest of my broccoli because it was starting to go bad. So mine may look like more broccoli than your recipe if you do make this. Just keep that in mind. So don't like freak out and be like, oh my gosh, I don't have that much broccoli. You're totally fine. It's all a preference thing too. So just note that if you do add more broccoli, it will change the nutrition of the recipe. So keep that in mind. Next up, we are gonna pour our egg mixture into these cups, about 3/4 filled. These are all pretty much 3/4 filled. One thing to note, as you can see with these 3, pour slowly, because you think that there's not a lot in the cup, but then once everything kind of settles, there is. So the thing with these, they'll probably poof over a little bit, so it'll be fine. They'll still taste fine, but just keep that in mind. And like I said, I still used the 8 eggs. I did not add more. I know I did add more broccoli, but I did not add any more eggs than what it called for. So you can see I got 12 out of this. I could have even got more given the fact that those are overfilled a little bit, and I still have some in my mixing bowl as well. I sprinkled as much as I wanted over the top of it. Make sure to wash your hands before you put your hands in the bag and after. 20 seconds, sing the happy birthday song, you'll be fine. Now I'm going to throw these in the oven, and once they are all done, I will show you what they look like and kind of let you know what I think. But after I throw these in the oven, we're gonna come back to that little quiz that I had you guys do at the beginning, and we're gonna go over the answers to that. Alright guys, back. So, whip out this little handy dandy quiz that you guys may or may have not took. Oh well. So we're gonna go over the answers. So it says, circle which foods are the better options for a keto lifestyle. You guys have some background knowledge into that now, so we'll see how you think you did. So milk. Now milk does have a high fat content. However, it has a lot of carbs from the sugar, and those are 2 things we do not want with the keto lifestyle. So that is not a correct option. Avocado oil, I'm sure you know by now because I've said it 1,000 times, is a great option for cooking in the keto lifestyle. It has a high fat content and a high melting temperature. So next, processed cheese. Absolutely not. With keto, you don't want processed foods. In general, you probably shouldn't be consuming processed foods, but I am not going to judge anybody. So, processed cheese, why it is not good, it has high saturated fat. Now, as some of us may know, high saturated fat is not healthy fat, so we do not want it. Bread and pasta, a lot of carbs there, sugar there. A lot of pasta sauces contain a lot of sugar, so even though they may be super delicious, probably want to stay away from them the majority of the time. Sugar, kind of already went over that. Sugar, if you're going to consume it, should be natural sugar. So try to go for things such as erythritol, or, you know, eat some fruit, but make sure it's in moderation. Because I know it's very easy to just eat an entire pineapple by yourself. I may have done that before, but anyway, honey. Lots of sugar there, don't want that. Cream cheese, high fat content, low carb content, perfect option when living the keto lifestyle. Actually, it may be weird, I don't know. It's a personal thing, but if I get a sweet tooth, I'll get in my fridge and I will snack on some cream cheese because I don't feel guilty eating it since it has low carbs and it will keep me full longer. And it has that sweetness to it that cures my sweet tooth most of the time. Not all the time, most of the time. Olive oil. So, I mean, yeah, you can use olive oil, but it's not the better option. So that's gonna be false. Like I said, ghee, avocado oil, lard, which is vegan fat. Those are definitely better options to use than the olive oil. Lard, like I just said, yeah, obviously that's a good one, and it's cost effective too, so that's great. Low fat buttermilk. Buttermilk is delicious. That's personal preference though. But it says low fat, so that's not going to be a good option for keto because you want high fat. Honey baked ham, so freaking good, but not good for keto lifestyle. Has a ton of sugar in it, so we do not want that. Chocolate, ice cream, all those delicious things, yes, they are delicious, but not really good for the keto lifestyle. However, I did tell you that I followed, or the way I got into keto was through Christy, the one that has the Facebook page and the cookbooks and all that. So I have 2 of her cookbooks. Now I know you can get them electronically, but I like to have the book in hand. That's just me personally. So I have 2 of these cookbooks. Now in these cookbooks, she has a ton of recipes, and she has 2 other books as well. So the options are endless, and she teaches you how to change ice cream that's normally not so great to a better option for the keto lifestyle, which is great. I need to get an ice cream maker or an attachment for my mixer, but anyway, so you have options. You just need to know how to utilize your knowledge regarding the keto lifestyle to make normal, everyday recipes keto friendly. Enough about that. Almonds, macadamia nuts. So both I love. I am a girl that loves some peanuts and almonds. I snack on almonds all the time. Almonds have a higher carb count than macadamia nuts, so macadamia nuts are the better option, but both are acceptable for keto lifestyle. Moderation. Rice. So, love it, but not the best for keto. The next thing, I don't know if any of you guys have heard of cheese crisp, but they look like this, and they are super duper delicious. So they're called Wisp, and this flavor is the cheddar cheese flavor. If you guys love Cheez-Its as much as I do, these taste exactly like Cheez-Its. And I don't know if you can see the label on it, probably not, but for the entire container it is only 340 calories. It has, this is all for the entire container, a total of 28 grams of total fat, and then cholesterol is a little bit high at 85 milligrams, and sodium 670 milligrams, but I mean, it tastes like Cheez-Its, so it's kind of to be expected. But for the entire bag, there is only, I don't know if you can see it, 2 grams of carbs, which, this is the best snack ever. I'm just saying, I love it. The only downfall is, if you are on a budget, these things can be pricey. But, like we looked at with some of the economic things, these things, these bad boys, Deerbergs, about $7. And most of it's air. They generally just fill it up to here. So, nobody's gonna want to spend $7 on something that's like 3/4 air. But if you go to Target, can get this bag for like $3. So yeah, it may not be the best option if you're on a tight budget, but you gotta know where to shop too, and you gotta think about what's more important, a $3 box of Cheez-Its or a $3 bag of these incredibly delicious things that are gonna make you feel good about yourself. So, enough about my indulgent habits. Sweet potatoes. I love sweet potatoes. Like I said, I worked at Texas Roadhouse. I love me some sweet potatoes. But they have a very high carb content, so fortunately I don't get to eat them that often. Butter. Butter's good, high fat. Just make sure you are reading labels, because some of them are super processed and aren't a really great option. I choose to use Kerrygold. Now, Kerrygold is a grass-fed butter, and it just gives a really rich, creamy taste to it. However, it is pretty expensive, so again, gotta work with what your budget is. So, salt. Salt is great for the keto lifestyle. I personally put it away, sorry. I use pink Himalayan salt. Now this is definitely a better option regardless of whatever lifestyle you follow, because pink Himalayan salt, if you have not read, has a ton of health benefits. It regulates pH levels in your blood, it improves nutrient absorption, and it combats fluid retention, among a zillion other things. So, it's a great option. Soy milk. For keto, you do not want any soy products. They affect the hormone levels, throw you out of ketosis. Now, if you have a little bit, it's not going to really throw you out of ketosis, but still, you should try and avoid it as much as you can. And soy products are highly processed, so I get it. If, you know, you're living a different lifestyle and it works for you, you do you. Totally fine. Spinach, avocado, eggs, pickles, lunch meat. All of those are pretty good options for a keto lifestyle across the board. With everything, moderation. So, you know, spinach, avocados, they have carbs in them. Everything has carbs. Even if it says it has 0 carbs, still has carbs. So, pay attention to that. Eggs, you know, like I said, watch your protein. Eggs don't have that many carbs in them. I know it says like 0 most of the time on the package, but it does still have carbs. It has about 0.75 grams of carbs per egg, depending on what size it is. So just watch that. Pickles, they're a great snack option if you're on keto. Snack on some pickles if you like them. The salt helps, and you know, just great option. So, lunch meat. Yes, lunch meat is great. Like I said, a lot of the lunch meats that are prepackaged go through a lot of processing, so not the best option. But if you have the budget for it, I would choose Boar's Head. I actually used Applegate, which is quite delicious, and it has no antibiotics, and it's gluten and casein free. And the label, let's see, yeah, it has pork, water, salt, and for bacon and some of the meats, if you read the label, you may get confused because it says it contains 2% or less of sugar, and a lot of times people are really confused about that because you're not supposed to have sugar with keto, or have minimal sugar. So it actually goes through fermentation. So after that fermentation process, most of that sugar is lost anyway. So it basically has no sugar. So you're fine. If you see that, just make sure it says 2% or less. But again, it's a preference. You know, some people don't eat it because it says contains 2% or less. But yeah. So eggs, I know I already kind of went over this, but I like organic eggs. I like free-range eggs, but preference. So I'm gonna check on these bad boys, and I will be right back. At Walmart's site or whatnot, you'll see it's about $15 or less to make it, and you can use these ingredients time and time again, and for other recipes as well. You don't have to just make this all the time. So I will talk about the roles of the heavy whipping cream and bacon fat. Like I've said it a million times already, but basically the heavy whipping cream and the bacon fat have a higher fat content, which is perfect for keto, and the heavy whipping cream kind of gives it a better mouth feel than like using milk or whatnot. It gives it a silky, creamy texture in the baked good. So yeah, that's a better alternative. Like I said, you have probably most of this stuff in your house already. Like salt, regular salt you can use. It's better to use pink Himalayan salt, but it's totally up to you. Instead of using milk, use heavy whipping cream. Instead of using your regular olive oil, use bacon fat that you can render from just cooking up some bacon. Just throw it in a mason jar and store it. There's a lot of different options. There's a lot of substitutes you could use that you don't even think about. So that's why I say read labels, know how your body reacts to certain ingredients, and just do what works for you. But we're gonna check on these again, and we'll see what they look like. Still a little runny, so last thing before we look at the final product, there is going to be an analysis attached. So the one, I put it underneath, one's the keto nutrition analysis, and then the other one is the mainstream, which Claire is going to do in her video. But looking at these side by side, they roughly have about the same calories, so they're really not that high in calories. Great option for that. And then obviously the keto option has more fat because it's, you know, it's a keto option, so we know high fat for keto. They both have about the same carbs. Hers is going to have some more vegetables, so it's going to be a little bit higher in carbs for that. But again, like I did add more broccoli to mine, so they would probably actually balance out. They'd probably be the same for that. The cholesterol and the sodium, though, for hers are higher, so I will kind of let her explain all that to you. But, you know, look at them. If you want to make one, awesome. You know, look at the information that we provided for you guys and try and make educated guess or whatnot about which would work best for you. So I am going to let these finish cooking, and then I will let you know how they turn out, because I'm sure you guys are getting tired of listening to me talk. So be right back. Alright guys, they are finished. And like I said, I kind of figured this would happen. These three that were filled a little bit more to the brim, they did bubble over a little bit, but that's totally fine. They're still edible. Update on the time, it did take exactly 20 minutes to get them to where I would like them. You do want them to be slightly browned on the top. Now mine are a little bit extra brown because I put the cheese on after I put the egg mixture in, but you know, the recipe did say to put the cheese in before you put the egg mixture in, but you can do it however you want. But yeah, so this is what the final product looks like. I will cut into one and show you a picture.